Hi everyone, welcome to English for You. I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Tom, and now we're going to discuss the first part of our lesson for today. It's Conversation C, and remember, Tony and Tina are at the restaurant celebrating Tina's birthday.
Yeah.
Now, Tony begins Conversation C by saying, I don't know about this, sis. I'm not sure if this is the right thing to do. Super spicy hot pot always makes me feel so thirsty. So maybe he's making up some excuses here. He's not really telling her the real reason why he doesn't want to have this spicy hot pot. So he says, well, it makes me thirsty, which means he wants to drink a lot of water.
I think he might be a little bit embarrassed to tell his sister the real reason. Even though she is part of his family, I think I could tell my family members. We're going to find out later what problem he has with spicy food. But he says, after I eat it, my stomach, it feels, you know. And he wants her to guess so he doesn't have to say it out loud himself. That's what I think. So she says, oh, come on, Tony. She kind of ignores his problems a little bit, I think, because she's just excited to eat herself. You know, it's her birthday. She says, don't you want to help me celebrate? When you celebrate something, you usually have some sort of party or big event, or maybe you just go out to dinner with someone to show that there's something special happening right then. Maybe it is a birthday, or maybe you just got a 100% score on a test and you want to celebrate. Well, you do something fun just to recognize the moment, to say this was a great day for me.
You can celebrate, dance to the music. Okay, well here Tony says, okay, but only because today is your birthday. I will only agree to do this because it's your birthday. I wouldn't do this on other days. But next month when I turn 30, it will be your turn to take me out to my favorite kind of restaurant. So if you talk about one person having to do something and then the next person having to wait, we say you take turns. For example, if you want to go down the slide at the park, well, the kids will have to take turns because everybody can't go down at the same time.
Or Tom and I take turns when we talk to you. If we both talk at the same time, it's hard to understand what we're saying, right? Sometimes that happens a little bit, but we try to take turns, so he stops while I'm talking, and when I'm finished, he starts talking.
So it's my turn to talk right now. So I guess he's going to turn 30 pretty soon, so we can tell that he must be 29 years old.
Ooh.
And he wants her to treat him. We often talk about these kinds of things when we go to restaurants. I will treat you, okay?
Yeah.
Let me treat. It will be my treat.
Oh, thank you.
Or if you're going out with friends, maybe you will go Dutch, which means each person will pay for their own meal.
Yeah, although most of my Taiwanese friends won't go Dutch. They always want to pay for my meal. So then I treat them and pay for their meal the next time. I like that about Taiwan. It's kind of fun. Well, she's guessing what kind of food he would choose on his birthday. And she says sushi. Sushi is small rolls of rice, and inside they've put fish in it. Usually there's seaweed on the outside, and then they cut them into little pieces. That's sushi, as you know. And she says, I don't know how you manage to eat raw fish. How do you do it? How do you manage or handle raw fish? Of course, if it's raw, it has not yet been cooked. I must say, I don't like raw fish either.
I don't really either, but Tony has to explain why he likes raw fish or sushi. He says it's the subtle combination of flavors that makes sushi so great. Now, something is subtle when you can't really tell it's there, but it is there, right?
Yeah.
For example, when you drink wine, yeah, it tastes like grapes, but also there are some other subtle flavors in there, like of nuts or of fruit or things like that.
Yeah, it's a very light taste. It's not too strong. If you describe a food as being subtle. Well, it's a subtle combination of flavors, meaning there are lots of flavors that they put together or combine together into a combination. And he likes those flavors and the taste of all those flavors coming together. He starts listing some of those flavors or ingredients that are in sushi, like ginger, which is a root that people use in their cooking. It has a very strong taste. We use ginger a lot in Asian cooking. Now, there's ginger, rice, seafood. We've talked about that. And then something called wasabi, which the first time I tasted wasabi, I wasn't expecting to taste something so hot and strong. Woo! It's spicy. And it kind of went up my nose and I started crying a little.
Right.
It's very strong.
Well, you usually mix wasabi with soy sauce, especially when you're eating sushi.
I didn't mix it enough.
Maybe you should try to mix it a little more next time. You learned your lesson,
I did.
Didn't you? Well, here Tina says, well, at least there is the wasabi to give the fish a little bit of zing. So I guess Tina doesn't think fish tastes really good. And she says, if you have the wasabi, it will give it a little more zing, which means a little bit more flavor. It'll be stronger. We could also say zest, or it kind of jazzes it up a little bit, makes it more lively.
Otherwise, and she starts out her sentence saying this, and you use this word otherwise when you start saying when something bad will happen if you don't do that. So if you don't add wasabi, what's the bad thing that will happen? It can kind of taste a little boring, really. So she's saying sushi's a little boring without the wasabi. Well, I agree.
Well, Tony feels a burning sensation in his mouth. A sensation is basically a feeling. So it feels like his mouth is on fire. It's burning. Well, here, sensation is our power word for today. Let's take a closer look.
Word Power. Hi, and welcome to Word Power. Today's word is sensation. Today we read that the spicy hot pot gave Tony a burning sensation in his mouth. Sensation is a noun that means a feeling we get from one of our five senses: touch, taste, scent, sight, and sound. For instance, John felt a painful sensation in his arm when Fred bumped into him. It can also mean someone or something that causes a lot of excitement or interest. For example, the Beatles were a huge rock sensation from England. As an adjective, we use the word sensational. This describes something that is very interesting, exciting, or surprising. For instance, if a scientist found the cure for cancer, it would be a sensational discovery. That's all the time we have for Word Power. Thanks for listening.
Okay, so they're speaking of zing here. When you say, oh, speaking of zing, it means, well, now that we're talking about that, I want to mention something else that's very closely related. He said this hot pot is really spicy, so I guess there's a lot of zing or extra flavor in the hot pot. She says, oh, here, and she gives her brother a glass of milk. If your mouth is very hot, you've eaten spicy food, drink some milk. Water won't help you. That milk is a great combination, and it breaks down those spicy oils in your mouth, and it tastes a lot better. Now, when you use that phrase break down, it means a substance breaks down. So we're talking about a chemical process. If something breaks down, it comes apart, right? And that's how we're using it here. But we use breakdown in other ways too, don't we, Tom?
We sure do. Like your car might break down if you don't take good care of it. Or if you talk about this in the noun form with the two words together, that talks about a situation in which something breaks down. Oh, I'm having a mental breakdown because of all the pressure from work, for example. Okay, so yeah, he gets some milk here to sort of break down the oils. I've never heard of that one. I usually drink or eat white rice or some bread, and that usually helps take care of the problem.
Oh, my grandma told me to drink milk with Mexican food, which is also very spicy. And she was right. So it does work if your mouth is burning up. Drink some milk real fast. Remember, water doesn't help. Well, Tony says, that's good because my mouth is on fire. If it's on fire, it's so hot, you don't know what to do. So that's not enjoyable. Don't ever eat something that's so spicy you feel like your mouth is on fire.
You don't have to punish yourself. Enjoy yourself. Okay, everybody? It's time now to listen to our Chinese teacher, and then we will be back.